Do you have any tips on growing your Instagram? This one. You never see your boyfriend. You are rich from a wealthy background. You've never smoked. Why am I questioning this? Friends. Obviously friends. Oh my god. I actually feel shocked at myself. You're constantly working. This one. And then this like patterned blue and pink scarf he's put over my shoulders, and then just to kind of push it a little bit far, I used to put on a blue bear jumper, which was, by the looks of it, I'm going to be spilling a little bit of tea. Hello lovelies, happy Sunday, or whenever you're watching this video, happy whatever day it is. I hope you guys are all well and you're doing okay at home, you're staying safe and everything is good with you guys wherever you are in the world. I thought I would jump on the bandwagon today and do a assumptions Q&A video. I feel like it's kind of a trend that's going around at the moment, and I thought it'd be really fun to see what you guys assume about me. And you guys really didn't hold back. You guys really went in with the questions. There are a lot of funny questions here, and I didn't really want to look at them too much because I kind of wanted to do like on the spot answers and just kind of answer what comes off the top of my head and that kind of thing. So I've only skimmed over them, but from the ones I've seen, I've had a good laugh at them. So thank you guys if you ask questions. Thank you for asking some juicy questions, because by the looks of it, I'm going to be spilling a little bit of tea in this video. So yeah, excited to answer them and see what you guys asked me. I'm also a little bit scared. But here we go anyway. What I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna get a family member or anything like that ask me. I'm just gonna read them off my phone and try and answer every single one until I feel like I've been talking for too long, because I'm sure I could ramble on for England, so I don't want to make this the longest video ever. But you guys asked some assumptions and you also did some questions for me as well, so hopefully you guys by the end of this video will get to know me a little bit better, and yeah, I'm excited. So let's go. Right, first question, do you think you and your sister are creative because your parents encouraged you? Answer to that, 100%. Both my parents and nearly everyone in my family are freelance and within like creative jobs and industries, and I think from a young age we were both kind of pushed to doing things that we enjoyed and loved. I remember I got like a little toy keyboard when I must have been about 6, and I just loved playing on it. So by the time I got to like year 1, my dad and mum were like, do you want to do piano classes? You'll enjoy it, have fun. And I did classes for about 4 years, and then I kind of just lost my love for like the lessons. I enjoyed kind of doing it at home, and then they were just so on board with me kind of self-teaching myself, and I kind of learned how to play music at home. So I feel like throughout my life and throughout my career they've constantly supported us, and my sister is an incredible illustrator, and yeah, we're just always encouraged to kind of do the creative stuff that we enjoy, and I guess just anything we enjoy in life, which is really nice. So yeah, the answer to that. What's the ballsiest thing you've done in your career to get to where you are now? That's a hard one. I think the ballsiest thing I've ever done to get to kind of where I am at this stage now would probably just taking the plunge to be full-time in this industry, because I feel like that can be quite a scary thing to kind of dive into. And I was working full-time and like part-time, and I was at uni, and I had like this going on, and I kind of had like little things happening everywhere, so I kind of felt like I was really busy a lot of the time, and I got in kind of a habit and got used to kind of earning like a monthly wage and it being stable and everything like that. And then I think the thing that kind of made me make the decision to go full-time within like the content creation industry was my dad and my mum, who are both freelance and have been for years and are really successful in what they do in their work. And my dad was like, you're never gonna know if this is gonna work if you don't try. And I kind of was like, right, I'll try it for a month, 2 months, and then I'll see how I feel. And yeah, here we are. I'm still here. So I kind of, yeah, I feel like that's the ballsiest thing I've done in terms of my career. Like taking that plunge for me was quite a big deal. So I'd probably say that. I feel like I'm answering the questions first, but we'll just go with the questions and I'll do the assumptions. Did you ever at any point think you were going to give up blogging, weren't going anywhere / early on? For me, when I first started like my blog, it was mainly like my online writing blog that I started, and that was actually like a little escapism for me. I was studying at university in London. I was doing like a 5-hour commute every day from Brighton to London. Like I was in like Shoreditch area, like very far out, and it took me hours on the train. So I ended up just writing how I felt, writing about travel, writing about fashion, writing how I felt. I mean, if you go on my blog and you want to go as far back as that, there are lots of really, really old blog posts on there. I feel like it was a different person then, but yeah, I feel like when I first started, it was very much just like something that was an escapism. And then when I was working at Topshop, I kind of fell in love with like styling again and fashion, which I've always like been in love with, but it kind of became a bit more like, I want to put this online, I want to have my own space to kind of share what I love and share the clothes that I love. And so then I kind of converted it to being on Instagram, and I think within the first 6 months, I didn't even know this was like a career for people, and I didn't realize the extent of how big this industry is. It's absolutely massive. There's some crazy, insanely talented people out there, and I just didn't know. Like, I was very kind of naive to it all, and after like the first 6 months, I think it must have been then when I hit around 5k and I got offered my first kind of gifting job, and it was at that point where I kind of became a bit more aware of like the industry and what it involved, and came with that a lot of comparison for me. And I think that was the only point where I didn't know whether I was in the right frame of mind or strong enough to be on a space and a platform that I found myself really comparing myself with all the time. So I think for me, like the answer, I'm gonna read it again because I feel like I'm going off on a tangent here, but I think for me, I didn't think I was gonna give up, but I did take, like, I did 6 months, and then I did take 4 months of just kind of posting my friends and going back to posting the things that I loved, whether it was fashion, whether it was just me and my mates, whether it was dinner. I just kind of took it back to being like my own little scrapbook space just for like life, rather than it being based on fashion. And then that kind of allowed me to tailor my space and realize that online is like your life. You can kind of surround it with the things that you love, like you would your life, and the things that uplift you, make you feel good. And yeah, I think that really, really helped my mindset. I think for me, it was just, it wasn't giving up. I was never going to give up something that I really enjoyed. It was more that being mindful that if I got myself into a place of body comparison and getting more negative in terms of how I looked at myself and that kind of thing, I needed to kind of look after myself and take a step back. So I wouldn't say I was going to give up at all, because it's always been there and always been something I love, but I did take a step back for 4 months when I started. But I guess that wasn't to do with anything about not going anywhere, because I didn't even know it was possible to be in the situation I'm in now, which I feel forever grateful for. So yeah, assumption, you've always been into fashion. Yes, I guess so. I've always loved fashion. I've always really enjoyed styling. I've always enjoyed kind of experimenting with stuff. And I mean, not that I haven't looked great in fashion. I mean, I look back at photos from like when I was in year 7, year 8, and God, although I was wearing the trendy stuff, it doesn't look good. But we've all been there. We've all experienced that. So yeah, I've always really loved styling. I used to wear, I mean, I'm just laughing just imagining this, but I used to do this thing at school, which all my schoolgirls will know me for. I used to like button up my polo and then layer pearl necklaces, and then this like patterned blue and pink scarf I used to put over my shoulders, and then just to kind of push it a little bit far, I used to put on a blue bear jumper, which was so trendy at the time, but my God, what a fashion statement that was. I mean, I was known for that. And I also was known at college for the disco pant girl. I don't know if any of you girls or guys remember the disco pants from American Apparel. Well, I was known apparently by the year above as the disco pant girl because I wore them every single day to college. So I wouldn't say I've always been trendy or great at fashion, but I've always loved it. So yeah. How tall am I? I'm actually 5'2", so I'm a lot smaller than people think I am. I think just from like years of kind of being in front of the camera, you kind of know your angles and kind of know what works for you, and I always like to look as tall as I can, even though I'm 5'2", but yeah, I am 5'2". Went to private school. Wow, no, I didn't go to private school. I went to state school, I think that's what it's called. I went to state school, and yeah, I just, yeah, loved it. It was great, great fun. You have an unreal work ethic. I like to think that I am really good at kind of being on track with work and that kind of thing. I definitely have up and down days. I think that's normal with everyone, that there's some days where you don't feel motivated at all, and I sometimes struggle with that, and I just kind of want to be in bed or kind of chilling out, and I don't sometimes want to get up and do it. But I am a very, very organised person. I think everyone that knows me can vouch for that. I little bit of OCD in terms of like I really like to be in control of situations, and I really like organising and creating lists and getting them done, and I have quite a lot of like mood boards and things like that. And so I guess I don't know, I hope so. I'm busy a lot. So I keep busy, and yeah, I keep like mood boarding and like having ideas and kind of expanding and trialing, and yeah, it's trial and error, isn't it, with work? So yeah. The kindest soul ever. Oh, that's so lovely of you. Thanks. I don't know if I can answer that because I don't know if I can say that about myself, but yeah. Oh, another question. Favorite book, podcast, TV show and movie. Oh, that's a lot. That is a lot. I'm going to do like my current favourites. So my current favourite book that I'm loving is Normal People. Just watched the series, didn't read the book before I watched the series, and usually I kind of like kick myself for not doing it the other way around. But I actually really liked reading the book after watching the series. I feel like I kind of was able to kind of feel really connected to the characters, which I really, really liked. And favourite podcast, probably The Happy Place is always been kind of like a nice little podcast I can go back to, and I just love Fern Cotton. She's just my idol. What a woman, basically, what a woman. So yeah, I really like that podcast. Favourite TV show, oh, that's a hard one. I don't really watch TV, but like if I could say, oh, TV show, I was gonna say Louis Theroux documentary or like Stacey Dooley documentary, but I don't know if that classes as a TV show. Oh, why am I questioning this? Friends. Obviously Friends. Oh my god. I actually feel shocked at myself. Yeah, obviously Friends. Favourite movie currently, I would say I'm a little bit addicted to the Divergent series on Netflix, and I'm also really loving watching the Harry Potter's back. So maybe those. You're constantly working. Yeah. But I enjoy it and I love it, and I think when you find something that you love, it kind of, although it is work, I just love it. I just love it so much, and I just love doing it. And although there's like little aspects of it that I don't love, I love the majority of what I do, and I feel so grateful I'm in the position that I'm in to do it and do something that I feel so incredibly passionate about. So yeah, I guess I am working constantly, and I know I sent that to my friend Kirsty before this video, and she was like, oh my god, that's so jokes. Yes, you are working constantly. I was like, yes, I know. So yeah, I am. I do try and have downtime, and I do try and switch off, but I guess when you find something you enjoy, it's sometimes hard to do that. But I am really consciously, during this time that we have, kind of being at home a lot and being with ourselves a lot, learning that I do really need to switch off and like recharge. So that's something that I'm working on. You're a creative person, you love colour, I never see you in black. Oh, well, interestingly to that question, I would say I'm quite creative. I feel like that's something that like throughout school and stuff like that, I didn't feel as I was academic as everyone else kind of around me, and I felt like being creative was something that I like being creative and I enjoy it. So I'd say I'd like to think I'm a creative person. And in terms of loving colour, I've always loved colour. I've always loved like pops of pinks and blues, but only recently I feel like I've kind of really found my style and what I'm loving, and I'm really kind of loving pops of colour that make me feel good and make me feel happy. And yeah, so I guess at the moment I'm kind of like becoming a bit colour obsessed, but everyone that knows me will know that I've gone through phases of just wearing black. Like when my boyfriend and me first met around, I think it must have been 7.5 years ago now, when we first met, I pretty much only wore black like all the time. I would never in a million years would I put on a blue pair of jeans. Like everyone just that knows me was like, just wear a pair of blue jeans, and I was like, I can't do it, doesn't suit me. And yeah, now I feel like I've gotten out of those little stages where I used to wear like 2 pairs of cotton tights and really tight Joni jeans, and I used to wear a lot of mesh clothing like under logo tees, and I mean I had some weird style going on back then. But yeah, I think I really love colour at the moment, and I think that's showing a lot on my Instagram. But yeah, people would like around me in my life would kind of be like, you always wear black. Like on a night out I'll always wear black. But yeah, I hope that's the answer to that one. Do you have any tips on growing your Instagram? I get asked this quite a lot actually, and I think I'll do like a separate video more going into depth on like Instagram and my thoughts towards it and that kind of thing. But just in kind of like short for like tips on growing your Instagram, I'd say firstly kind of find your niche, find what is you, what you love, and just kind of make sure you're putting out stuff that you love and you enjoy. I feel like our spaces are like our scrapbooks, and we kind of have to fill them with what we love, otherwise it can be something that you don't enjoy. And I think it's really important with like having your own platform like that to love it and really enjoy what you're putting out and what you're creating and having fun with it and that kind of thing. So I'd say really kind of just have fun with what you're doing and what you're sharing, and be consistent. I think that's a massive thing. Like, be consistent in your stories, be consistent with what you're posting. People love to see kind of what you're up to, I guess. And I mean, I love to see what people are up to personally, and love to see what people's style is. And so yeah, posting regularly, that kind of thing. Also kind of looking at brands that you love, and whether it's fashion, whether it's beauty, whether it's food, that kind of thing, kind of looking at what maybe those brands like to post, and kind of getting creative and creating like your own little photo or something that could possibly be a repost for that brand. Because I know for me personally, like reposting has massively helped me grow over the last like year and a half, 2 years, and that kind of thing. So I think being consistent, loving what you're putting out, connecting and engaging with accounts that inspire you and uplift you, yeah, I guess in short that's kind of it. But I will do a video separately at some point on that as well. This one. You never see your boyfriend. I mean, currently I don't see him because we're in lockdown and I'm in Cornwall with my dad's and he's in Brighton, and I just wouldn't, I mean, I wouldn't see him anyway if I was in Brighton because we don't live together. But yeah, I do see him. Well, before all of this, I did see him almost probably 3 times a week, maybe more. But currently I never see my boyfriend. Yeah, currently I don't, so I guess that's true. You have savings. Yes, I do. I am currently saving for a house. I don't know when I'll be able to buy a house, but I'm currently saving for one because I'd love to own my own house. And yeah, I'm currently saving, so I'm saving as much as I can. And I also have a lot of travel that I still want to do, whether that will be next year or the years after, not without really knowing kind of what's going to happen and that kind of thing. I feel like for me it's kind of a drive still to save as much as I can so that I can do the things that I love and that kind of thing. So yeah, if you don't mind, what's your height? Oh, I already answered that, 5'2". Are you in a relationship now? The best store for buying clothes? Yes, I am in a relationship, as I just mentioned. I have been with my boyfriend 7 years and it's pretty damn great. I'm loving it. So I guess that's a good thing. The best store for buying clothes. I can't just answer that with one store because there's too many that I really love. But currently my favourite store to kind of browse and like look for summer and spring bits would probably be Topshop and probably Monkey actually. I'm really loving stuff on Monkey. So yeah, I say Topshop and Monkey currently. You are rich from a wealthy background. I always find these questions, because I have a few in a minute about money and things like this, and I always feel like it's very subjective and something that I personally find it difficult to answer, that kind of question, because I feel very privileged and grateful that I have like a roof over my head and I've had a really amazing upbringing, but I haven't ever been handed anything on like a plate. Everything that I own or have, I've worked for. I've worked since I was 14, either part-time or full-time. So I don't know, I feel like it's such a hard one to answer because my parents work for themselves. They're really successful in what they do, but that's their money. It's not my money. They've always kind of encouraged me and my sister to kind of work for yourself and save and kind of earn your money. And I feel like that can be very rewarding. And yeah, I save a lot. So since working in like little corner shops from 14, I've managed to save quite a bit from then because I just keep saving. But then I go and travel and spend it. And I think best way to spend money really, because I have memories for a lifetime. But yeah, I feel like that's a hard one to answer. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that one properly. Yeah, hopefully that's okay. You make a lot of money. Yes, I'd say this industry, if I'm being honest, like this industry has a really good income. Currently, obviously with everything going on, work isn't as busy as it usually is, but again, I save a lot, so I've been saving a lot for probably nearly 2 years now, so yeah, I don't I find it so hard to answer, but yeah, I think this industry you can earn a lot of money through this industry. You went to a really good school. I personally had such an amazing school experience. I loved being at school, but I more probably loved being at school because I just loved being with my mates and having fun and just, yeah, going out and having house parties and doing all that stuff. So yeah, I guess I went to a good school in that sense, that I really enjoyed it and had a good time. You were popular at school. Again, that's really subjective. I don't know. I had a massive group of friends. I also was in like quite a lot of different classes, like digital production and drama and media and English and art, and I feel like through that I made friends with loads of different groups of people, and yeah, had a great time. I had a lot of friends that I loved a lot, and yeah, I feel like school was a good time for me. And yeah, I was in a massive group of girls, so I don't know. From where I was standing, I wouldn't say I was unpopular, but I wouldn't be like I was really popular. I feel like that's such a weird one. I don't know. You're a relationship girl. Yes. I feel like that's such a me question. Whoever asked that, you're spot on. I probably, out of my group of friends, am known for being the most relationship kind of girl out of all of them. And it sounds really bad, but I've only actually been single since I was 12 for around 10 months. And yeah, that sounds crazy, but I've always been in long-term relationships. My first relationship was around 2.5 years. And then I was with someone for 7 months, and then 3 years, I want to say. And then now 7 years. So it sounds really bad, but I guess I don't mean to get into relationships. I feel like even when I first met Jamie, he can vouch for this as well, that when we first met, it was like by mistake. Our parents kind of set us up in a very weird way, but they kind of set us up, and yeah, I wasn't looking for a relationship, and then one just popped up, and I feel like that's kind of happened throughout the last 15 years. They just turn up. But yeah, you've never smoked. I've tried a cigarette. I've had a cigarette. I don't enjoy it. I guess you could say like I've gone on a night out back in the past or at a festival, and I've like social smoked, but I've never ever lit or had my own cigarette. I've maybe had like a bit of someone else's, and I just don't enjoy it. It's not for me. I haven't smoked a cigarette or on like socially and like tried it and that kind of thing in, I want to say like 2 years, 3 years. Just don't enjoy it. It's just not for me. Yeah, it makes me feel very, very sick. So yeah, not for me. You are posh. I feel like I give off like a boarding school posh thing going on here. I don't know what you'd class as being posh. Again, I don't know, but I'd say no to that. You have 6 figures in your bank. I feel like this is a very popular assumptions question that keeps going around, and people keep asking these assumption videos, and I feel like that's where like it's quite entertaining to watch. But with 6 figures, I do not have 6 figures in my bank account. Yeah, I don't. You don't stop working. Again, I kind of feel like I answered that. I try and make time to chill and not do a lot, but I also do love this job, and I do love working as much as possible because I feel like there's a good feeling about being creative and editing, and I enjoy all that kind of stuff. So yeah. Have you found being in the industry means people judge you a lot? I think this one, like, yes and no. I think when I first started, I had like on and off kind of judgment from people around me, not really understanding like what I was doing. Yeah, I think there can be judgment, but I also think that can happen within like any job in any industry maybe. I I just feel like maybe it's a bit different. It's always such an awkward one when you're meeting people for the first time and they're like, what do you do? Me and some of the girls, when we were like away, when we were in Bali and stuff, we're just like, oh, we just do digital marketing. Like, it's not that we feel embarrassed to talk about it or say that we do it, but there's also a lot of questions attached with the job. And I feel like sometimes there can be like an instant judgment from people when you first meet them sometimes. So yeah, I'd say there is some judgment in it, but there's also not. And yeah, I enjoy it, so it's worth all of that, really. Next one, just came across your account, but I'd say you would be super confident. I don't know. I'd say from like drama and from being like pushed into situations where I'm out of my comfort zone quite a lot, I feel like I'm a lot more confident than I ever was. Yeah, I'd say I'm just like quite upbeat, and I get nervous about going into situations, or like I feel anxious about certain situations, but I'd say that when I'm in them, I'm okay. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not super confident, but I'm maybe confident on the outside. I don't necessarily feel confident in terms of like, I don't know, I have quite a lot of insecurities still behind the scenes, so I feel like, I don't know like whether that class is as being super confident or not, but yeah. You got good grades at school. I did okay at school. I did like pretty average, I think. I am dyslexic and I have processing issues, which I didn't know what the hell processing issues were, but it basically means it takes me a little bit longer to take something in and process it and say it. Or like if I'm reading, it takes me like maybe a few times to read a page to kind of take in what it says. So I had quite a lot of support in terms of my dyslexia and getting help on a laptop and like in exams and that kind of thing. And I think through school I had a lot of tutors because of that, so I had a lot of help with like maths and English, and I like just skimmed a lot of them. Like science for me, I got D's in, but maths I got a C after 3 years of a tutor. But then like I did well in like photography and art and media and digital production and that kind of stuff. So I guess the things that I feel like are quite creative that I really, really enjoy, I did well in. And then the things that I kind of struggled with and I didn't enjoy as much, I, yeah, had help. So I did all right, I think. You want to get married and have children in the future? Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. I would really like to get married. I'd love to get married somewhere very, very hot and with all my friends and family. And I already Pinterest my dresses. It's so bad. I'm not even engaged. I don't even know if it will happen for years. But yeah, I would like to get married and I would love to have children. I'm from a very, very small family and I've always wanted a very, very big family. It's obviously something me and my partner will talk about at the time, but I would love at the moment currently to have like 4 kids. Not sure I'd cope, but I just love the idea of like having a really, really big family, and I have a lot of friends that have a lot of siblings, and I love having my sister. I don't know what I'd actually do without having a sister, but I definitely know 2 to 4, I would love to have kids. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it on that because I feel like I've spoken for quite a while and this is probably gonna be a very long video. But yeah, thank you for all you guys answered questions. Hopefully I answered the majority of your questions and that kind of thing. There was a lot more about like money, but I kind of picked the ones that I could answer that they were all kind of very similar. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed and learned a little bit more about me and that kind of thing. If you guys have any questions at all, then feel free to just DM me over on Instagram or leave a comment down below and that kind of thing. And I will be back next week with a little fashion video. I think I'm gonna do a River Island haul or maybe like a new in haul of like some spring summery pieces that I have recently purchased and that kind of thing. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're keeping safe. Thank you so much for being here and watching today's video. If you've got this far, then amazing, because I feel like I've spoken for long enough. But I hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day whenever you're watching this, and I'll see you in next Sunday's video. Lots of love, guys. Mwah.